Luka Doncic made his return to Dallas tonight. And as a Mavericks fan, it was just brutal to watch. He goes off for 45. People are cheering for him the entire time. But really from the jump. So the Mavericks play this tribute video that they made for him. And, the tribute video is like, that's what everybody does now. There are some players who don't deserve them. Like, I'll never forget Dwight Howard played for the Hawks for a year, and he went back and they had a tribute video. It felt a little unnecessary. But Luka Doncic undoubtedly deserves one, right? He's there for 6.5 years, takes him to the finals last year, and then in the most shocking trade in the history of the NBA, the Mavericks move him. And the guy never wanted to leave. And I'm sitting here on my couch. I'm watching him cry. And it just brings back this memory of, man, like he was supposed to have a statue in Dallas right beside Dirk, who showed up at the game. And, Dirk Nowitzki's only been to 2 games since that trade happened. Luka's debut in LA and Luka coming back to Dallas. And you sit there and you're watching him cry, and it's just brutal. And all the memories of geez, like this guy was supposed to be here for forever come flooding back, and it's like, but he's gone, and he's in that stupid purple and gold, and I say that as a fan, and seeing Dirk be there as well just brings back these memories of man, sure, Nico Harrison didn't like that Luka liked to drink beer every now and then, but the best player in the history of the franchise, who played with Luka for a year, gave Luka his stamp of approval. And when it comes to ownership, and this is why ownership matters so much, Dirk's stamp of approval should have meant a hell of a lot more than what Nico Harrison, a former Nike executive, thinks about somebody. And, Mark Cuban doesn't get nearly enough blame for all of this. The fact that he sold the team is, that's really where all this started. Because if he owned the team, Nico Harrison never would have moved that guy. But that's for a different video. And, you saw the passion and the love that Dallas Maverick fans have for Luka throughout that entire game. I mean, they chanted "Fire Nico" from the start. It died down a little bit, but sure enough, it would fire right back up. I included, hate that guy. And he 1,000% needs to be fired. And Patrick Dumont no longer needs to be the governor of the Dallas Mavericks. Both of those guys need to be removed from their positions as soon as this season is over. Dumont knows absolutely nothing about basketball. He has no business running a team in any way, shape, or form. And Nico Harrison thinks he's smarter than what he actually is, clearly. Okay? And he is tone deaf to the franchise, who it loves, and what it needs. And so both those guys, as soon as the Mavericks are done playing basketball this year, both of those guys need to be gone. In terms of the game itself and Luka going crazy and putting up 45 points, the first thing that I noticed was LeBron James. And, LeBron, ever since Luka has shown up, just kind of cruises through the first 3 quarters, and then he turns it on in the fourth. That is not the LeBron James that we got tonight. From the opening tip, that guy was full tilt. Like, not quite playoff mode, but he played with more force than he usually does. Like, opening tip, he grabs it, he goes right to the rim, he gets fouled, and he takes 2 free throws. And having LeBron for Luka has got to be one of the best things coming into this game for Luka. Because LeBron James knows what it's like to go back to a place where you played for a long time. And it's a little bit different because the people in Cleveland didn't like him when he went back to Cleveland after he left for Miami. And, the people in Miami didn't exactly love him the same way that they love Luka when LeBron decided to go back to Cleveland. And then, the first time that they went down and played Miami. And so, LeBron gets it. And there was just this sense that I had from the jump that, look, these guys are really competitive. They want to win every game that they play. But LeBron specifically wanted to win this game for Luka because he knows what it's like to go back to a place where you spent a whole lot of time. I was very impressed from that perspective with, LeBron James and just the extra efforts that he played with tonight. In terms of Luka, I mean, Mavs cheer for him every time he touched the ball in the first 4 minutes. I mean, and they cheered from every time he scored, which, wasn't very surprising. When he was subbed out at the end of the game and the game was over, with 90 seconds left, he received a standing ovation. Once again, none of this is any sort of a surprise. I think everyone familiar with the NBA understands how important Luka Doncic was. I freaking hate that I have to say that, was to the Dallas Mavericks and their fan base, and he absolutely torched the Mavericks tonight. He joins Wilt Chamberlain as the only player in the history of the NBA to score 45 points for a team in a game and then score 45 points against that same team in the same season. And he just went crazy. He scores 14 points in the first quarter, 5 of 9 shooting. Second quarter, he ups it. He finishes the first half with 31 points on 11 of 16 shooting. He's 6 of 8 from 3. He had 38 at the end of the third quarter, and then, of course, he finishes the game with 45 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. He was awesome, which is arguably less surprising than all the cheers that he got tonight. I mean, this guy torments the Suns every time he plays against them because they pass on him when they had the number 1 overall pick. They went DeAndre Ayton over him. He crushes the Kings every time he plays them, in part because the Kings suck, but also because the Kings could have drafted him number 2 overall. And the Kings were like, no, we're going to take Marvin Bagley III. And Luka Doncic has never forgotten it because he's a psychomaniac killer on the basketball court. And more on that here in a minute. And you can just add the Mavericks to that list. He's going to crush them every time that they play from here until the end of his career. Every game except for the first time that they played against each other because he struggled. And I think that playing against the Mavericks pretty quickly after the trade in Los Angeles was one of the best things for him in terms of him being able to go back to Dallas and play really well. Because in that first game, I don't know if you remember, but he struggled. It just seemed like he was pressing. It seemed like he was trying too hard. He ends up shooting 6 of 17 from the floor, 1 of 7 from 3. Part of that being he was still trying to knock off some of the rust from missing time with that injury. This time around, he was so much better. Seemed calmer, seemed much more in the moment, didn't seem as rushed, wasn't looking to just kill everybody. He let the game come to him a little bit more than what he did during that game out there in Los Angeles. And he was awesome. I think this night, though, went in a way that a lot of people thought it would. The Lakers won. Luka was great. Mavericks fans showed their appreciation for Luka, and they showed their hatred for Dumont and Nico. For me, something that I found surprising was how awful Anthony Davis was. He was bad. And, let's not forget, he's playing against his former team as well that traded him away without him reportedly knowing, which, I don't know if I really buy that or not. And I thought we were going to get this elite Anthony Davis performance because they were playing against Luka and the Lakers. Let's be honest, Mavericks fans, me included, we don't want Anthony Davis. We want Luka Doncic. And there has to be some part of Anthony Davis that has to be offended by that because he's a good player. He's one of the 15 best players in the world, has been a top 10 player in the world for certain stretches of his career. And I thought we were going to get I'm Anthony freaking Davis. I'm a really freaking good basketball player. Luke is great, but watch me go at this dude tonight. And I thought we were going to get not vintage because Anthony Davis is only 31, but I thought we were going to get an elite 30-point, 20 rebound, 5 block shot kind of night from Anthony Davis. And we didn't get that at all. He looked like he did not care. He would have these long stretches where you didn't even realize that he was on the floor. It was just a pitiful performance. We got 13 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 turnovers, and only 1 block. And you've got every Dallas Maverick fan tuning in to watch this game. Every single one of them. And Anthony Davis had a real opportunity to showcase how awesome he is because he is an awesome basketball player. And he just kind of let it go by the wayside. And I get it. The Lakers doubled him a lot and all that kind of stuff. But still, he could have been so much better than what he was. Max Christie was better than Anthony Davis was tonight. And that's unacceptable. Not only just for the Mavericks going forward, but if you're Anthony Davis, and this goes back to that killer instinct thing. Anthony Davis just isn't wired in the same way that Luka Doncic is. And it's part of why it's really frustrating that the Dallas Mavericks made this trade for a guy who just isn't Luka Doncic. No other way around it. And it sucks. And I, like many other Mavericks fans tonight, are happy for Luka. I'm glad that he played really well. But man, I can't wait till they fire Nico and they make sure that Patrick Dumont never touches any NBA franchise ever again, because they have just ruined what was one of the best NBA franchises, one of the best franchises and one of the best fan bases in the sport, period. Get those guys out of Dallas and never let them back. Being so serious with every single word of that. Congrats to Luka. Congrats to you Laker fans. Have fun with the dude. You're going to win probably a couple titles with him, and it's going to kill me every single time that you do. Thank you, though, for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe, please. I'm begging you. Really trying to build this thing up. If you feel bad for me, subscribe. And, that'll help me feel better. Make sure you like the video as well. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And I will talk to you again soon.